Good afternoon and welcome to 6 Secrets to Success. Make this the best year yet. Good afternoon. My name is Richard Hawley. I'm Business Development Enabler for Beyond 2030. And shortly you'll be being joined by Tony Eastwood, OBE, MBA and founder and CEO of Beyond 2030. But before we get to that, our taster session will enable you to identify opportunities for personal and business transformation, give quality thought to your big, hairy, audacious goal, and kickstart your journey with clearer and more purposeful life expectations. But before that, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Tony Eastwood, OBE, MBA, and founder and CEO of Beyond 2030. Tony Eastwood has spent the last 26 years carving out her own career in leadership, talent, and skills development. She launched Beyond 2030 in 2012, the UK's leading company in talent development and personal transformation. Tony's got the results to show how her award-winning programs have helped hundreds of businesses and thousands of individuals. She knows what it's like to have a huge ambition and leave the familiar behind. Tony's own big, hairy, audacious goal is to make a difference to the lives of 1 million people by helping them to have the career or business of their dreams. For her work and contributions to diversity and equal opportunities, Tony was awarded an OBE by Her Majesty the Queen. She has been interviewed on Sky TV, BBC Breakfast, LBC Radio, and appeared in articles in various magazines and national media, including Worldwide, Who's Who, The Guardian, The Observer, Be Daily, Yorkshire Living, and many more. Beyond 2030's programs are developed out of Tony's passion to challenge and support like-minded individuals and businesses. One of Tony's famous quotes is this: "We all have the potential to do great things, and unlocking potential lies at the heart of what we do." I want to help people to face challenges head-on, build supportive networks, and acquire the tools they need to achieve their aspirations. With our proven success and my unique model, you too can reach your full potential. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Tony Eastwood, OBE, MBA, and founder and CEO of Beyond 2030 to the webinar.
Good afternoon, everyone. Lovely to see you all here. I'm really excited to be here. Before I start the webinar, I just wanted to give you a little bit background about me and the book that I've written, which contains the model that we're about to take you through on this webinar. They say there's a book in everyone, and I'm certainly no exception. I actually fancied the thought of writing a book for many years. However, putting the pen to paper, or frankly pressing the keys on my iPad, took me a massive leap, as well as finding the strength to overcome my lack of self-belief and the dreaded internal voice that questions my capability. Who do you think you are, Tony Eastwood? What do you actually know about anything, and who in their right mind would actually want to read about your journey? So after a lifetime of facing my demons and a long and successful career, I know this is the right time to share with you and others my story and my journey, in hope that you too can overcome your fears and achieve success. In 2012, I left what I thought would be the job of my dreams, a director's position in a FTSE 30 company, where I thought I would be encouraged and inspired to achieve my ambition to make a significance in the retail industry. Alas, it was not to be, and I took the biggest decision of my life to turn my back on my career and leave the business. Never one to give up, I mustered the courage to start again, and I set up my now well-established company Beyond 2030, my personal dream, which I have turned into a reality. That was nearly 7 years ago now, and over that time I've focused my energy creating a simple, powerful and dynamic model for professional and personal success. The model has been tried and tested and has been successfully delivered to over 1,000 people from over 100 companies from pretty much every sector in the UK and from pretty much all walks of life. The model is born out of years of intensive research, and the subject of my first book is the result of painstakingly pulling together centuries of wisdom, sharing tips, tools, secrets and teachings of some of the world's most extraordinary people. My research spans the past 27 years and has taken me on a really long journey, looking at ancient texts, studying scriptures, exploring religions, understanding the differences between Western and Eastern business leadership, experimenting with sports psychology, and listening intently to spiritual gurus, alongside practicing the art of mindfulness and touching the art in the latest neuroscience. I've read books and research papers, undertaken some pretty intensive development programs, studied for hours and hours, continuously setting myself ongoing challenges, and all with one aim: to find and bring to you the definitive secrets. My book, The Woman Beyond, provides the keys to unlock those secrets and help you to discover new treasures. The book includes simple tools for practical application that will enable you to fulfill your true potential, achieve your aspirations, and awaken your greatness. Believe me, I have saved you a lifetime and a fortune. And not only that, I've personally tested the model on myself, my fabulous team, and most importantly, my clients. The reviews and accolades and the webinar that you'll hear today speak for themselves. The model works and has powerful transformational results. So make your success your reality. Thank you all so much for joining me. It's fabulous to see you all logged in. I can see the numbers going up. And myself and Rich are delighted to deliver the first in our series of webinars, introducing you to my tried and tested Aspire model. This webinar is a taster of the first part of that model. So why don't we crack on? By the way, although we can't see each other, we are actually going to get you to do some work. So I hope you have plenty of paper and pens with you. And we're going to get you to complete some exercises as we go along. Do put any questions you have in the little message box, which should be on the right hand side of your screen. And Richard is going to keep an eye on that and shout out if you've got any questions. Does that make sense, everyone? Just type yes T, that'd be perfect.
Brilliant, they're all coming through now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, so the Aspire model, you'll see it's up on the screen, and it's just an overview really there, so you can see it. Basically, what I've done is I've pulled together all of my research, and from that, I saw that there was an emerging pattern. Whether you're looking at successful companies, successful individuals, most of them follow a pattern which is repeated here. It's all about your attitude, the structure they put into their life, the purpose and identity that they want to live around their life, taking personal responsibility and choice, and how they execute that, all centered around the power of arete, which for those of you who don't know is actually a Greek word, an ancient Greek word, which means excellence at its heart. It means moral values and excellence. The model is actually divided into 3 sections and phases, and actually what we're going to do through this webinar is actually deep dive into phase 1, which is all about purpose and identity. And basically these are the foundations to anyone's success. You really need to understand what your purpose is about and who is it that you want to be. So I'm just going to check in with you all. We said that we need to get you to do some work, so I'm going to make some suggestions. If you agree or they resonate with you, I want you to type in the box yes T. Are you ready? Let's see a yes T.
Thank you, Jane, much appreciated.
So you feel unfulfilled, you want less stress, you're fed up with your boss.
Yes T, sorry.
Not you, Richard, I'm not allowed to do that. You want to make more money, you want to get out of debt, you want a career you feel more aligned to, you want more fulfilling relationships, you want to get fit to lose weight, you want to get out of the shadow of somebody else, stop hiding your light under a bushel, you want to do something for you, to be selfish without feeling guilt for a change, you want to start your own business, you want a new direction, but you're not sure what that is or how to go about it. Well, I can see a lot of yes T's there, but don't worry, you're not alone. 99% of the thousands of clients who've successfully worked with us on this unique model said that 1, 2, a few, or even few of the above applied to them. And the great thing is you're in the right place. So let's get on to part 1. So how do we make the next 12 months your greatest year ever? It's a really great time to start thinking about it. And actually, we're all a little bit ahead of time because most people are going to wait till New Year's Eve. But this is a really great process and a really great set of tools that we're going to take you through now that can be applied any day of the year to think about how are you going to make your next 12 months the best they can be. So just going to walk you through the 10 big, hairy, audacious ideas that we have, which will start preparing the foundations of your greatest year ever. So Phoenix Rising. What needs to be burned away in your life and what will rise? And we're going to be sharing some Harry Potter wisdom. 2, 2018 review, or over the last 12 months. What's been awesome and what needs work? Before we move forward into 2019, let's have a quick look at what that looks like for you. Big, hairy, audacious idea 3 is the best you. What we're going to do is we're going to jump back 10 years, we're going to jump forward 10 years, and then we're going to jump 25 years, or for those of you who are game for it, right to the end of your life and explore the eulogy you. What are people going to be saying about you? What is your number 1 goal? Big, hairy, audacious idea 4 is the best you right now. So we're going to take all that work that we're going to do in 3 and bring that forward to creating the best you. Number 5 is about the fundies. Eating, moving, sleeping. Just how important these are around the foundations of making your best year and the best you. Number 6 is all about the big 3. In our one-on-one coaching, setting goals is a big challenge. Is how do we know what one to set? So this is always a really good 3 to start with, around your family, the energy you have for life and driving yourself forward, but also the service that you give. So that be that your company, your business, or where you might want to be delivering your service. We're going to roll all of this up into a masterpiece day. We're going to take the stuff from the big 3 and we're going to look at how you set these as key parts of your day every day. We're then going to look at pickles, gnats and kryptonite dust, my favourite part. And we're going to look at what are the things that get in the way of you achieving your masterpiece days, of you achieving your goals. And really, at the crux of it, it's about stop doing stupid stuff. But we all do it. So we're going to have a deep dive into that. Then we're going to look at Whoop. Again, my second favourite thing. Whooping everything. The science of making your dreams a reality. This is a really excellent model, whether we're talking about using it for your big, hairy, audacious goals, or whether you use it with your team, personally, around meetings and setting little goals for each day or goals for people's development. And then finally, we're just going to look at how you play the game well. At the end of the day, life is a game, and actually we can choose the rules. Part of that's about having fun, but what are the rules and the roles that you want to play in that game? So without further ado, we go into number 1, Phoenix Rising. So I said I left a big job and a successful career, and at the time I thought it was the most hideous, painful and scary part of my life. But I soon realised that sometimes when things aren't going right, that actually you just need to let them go. Some people might say that's a message from the universe telling you that you need to move on, or something better is round the corner. But I think the difficult thing is knowing or believing that for yourself. So when I was sitting in the coffee shop after having handed my notice in on a 6-figure salary and lots of bonuses and shares, I was sitting there thinking, what on earth am I going to do? And I now call that my forks burning day. So this is where the Harry Potter wisdom comes in. So I don't know if you know Harry Potter. I've got any Harry Potter fans in the house. But actually, if you remember the Chamber of Secrets, Dumbledore had a phoenix. And I don't know if you know the legends of the phoenix, but it's a beautiful bird that lives for about 400 years before allowing itself to burn, consuming itself and rising as a better version of itself for another 400 years. The bird has amazing strength, special healing powers in its tears, and Dumbledore had one as a pet. And in the Chamber of Secrets, you see the bird burst into flames, die, and get reborn and rise from the ashes. But one of the things that you may or may not notice is that just before he set himself on fire and consumed himself, he was actually rather old and decrepit and quite ugly looking. And then when he was reborn from the ashes, whilst he wasn't old, he still looked quite decrepit and quite ugly looking. And I think the message for me, and certainly from all of the tools and secrets that I've read about and the research, it says you need to allow yourself to burn. You need to let go of things that don't work for you anymore before you can rise again. And many philosophers say that in order to get light, you have to allow something to burn. So that's one of our big, hairy, audacious ideas, Phoenix Rising. And this is where you can get yourself out, pen and paper or a journal, and start having a think as we go through these 10 ideas. Think about how they apply to you. Now, for those of you who are live, then we are going to send you the recording so that you're able to freeze the recording and do some more deep work on this. And I really recommend that you do take the time to do that, because the deeper you can work on this, the more information you can gain from it in order to take forward into your plans for your best year ever. So there's 2 things I want us to have a think about. What needs to be burned away? What are the things that you're holding on to right now? What fears, doubts, bad habits, situations that you might be in that you know deep down you need to let go of? You need to let it burn away. And then when you've thought about that, is what is it that needs to rise from those ashes? What is it that you want to become? And just give you some time to have a think about that. So what needs to be burned away? Fears, doubts, bad habits, things or people you need to let go of. And what is it that's going to rise from those ashes? Is it a stronger you, more focused you, a new you, new plans, new ambitions, a new journey?
Great to see some people sharing with us as they go along, writing this onto the old chat for us. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next bit. As we move into 2019 or in the next 12 months, let's have a think about the last year, the last 12 months. What's been really awesome for you and what needs work? Again, this is a really key part of our model. 2 things, 2 questions that you can use at any point. If you're in a meeting, having a difficult conversation, or having a review about something. It keeps things very open and honest, but also it takes away the emotion. So you can quite easily think about and talk about what's been awesome. So note some things down. Get 3 or 4 things down there. What has been awesome?
Don't be scared about bragging about it. You know, it's one of them situations where people don't give themselves enough credit. So, you know, if you really think you've done something awesome this year, make sure it goes down there. And at the same time, you know, if you feel something needs work on, you know, whether you want to develop yourself a little bit more, write that down as well.
A lot of the research shows that in order to get change and in order to go where you want to do, all growth comes from what they call inspirational satisfaction. So what things have been inspirational for you in the last year? What have made you feel really happy, really satisfied? But also, in order to get to the best version of you, there needs to be a little bit of inspirational, and remember that I have said inspirational, dissatisfaction. So what are the things that you're feeling not comfortable with, not happy with right now, knowing actually they could do with changing, but actually all it needs is a bit of work? What are those things for you? Get a couple of those down. It's a really brilliant formula. What's awesome? What needs work? Celebrate what's going well and just work on what needs work. So we move on. So what we've left here, we will send the slides to everyone. What we've left here is some space for you to, you know, take it away, jot down some notes and keep a record and keep going back to that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at the Eulogy You. Now, for some people, this actually is quite an uncomfortable exercise, because what we're going to ask you to do is imagine the future. So get yourself out 25 years. Hopefully most of us has got more than 25 years, but to the Eulogy You, you're walking into a funeral and it's your own funeral. And as I say, that's quite uncomfortable, but this can be really, really powerful, because think about what people might be saying about you. What would you want them to be saying about you? The great things that you did, the virtues that you had, the service you gave, how you inspired others. What is it that you would really, really love to be known for? What would you really like them to be saying? Think about that. Reflect on it. Get it down on your notepad. What virtues do you aspire to be known for? Are you acting with integrity with those? Are you living with those every day? So this is about the big, big, big picture version of yourself. Go all the way to the end of your life, step right back and see the big picture. Hope you caught some stuff down there. Like I say, it can be really uncomfortable, quite scary thinking about that. But actually, if you don't do that, then how do you know that if you bring it back to today, that you're going to be achieving that at the end of your life? And again, uncomfortable statement, but many philosophers say that a definition of hell is turning up to your own funeral, but seeing that you are much less of a person than you could have ever been. You could have achieved so much more. And who of us wants to be at the end of our life really thinking about that? So let's make sure that we're not those people. So the next step is about coming back from that 25 years plus. And what we're thinking about is you're waving a magic wand and you can have whatever you like in your life. You've got no barriers. You're not thinking about things that might stop you. You're not thinking about things like lack of money, time, resource, confidence. What you're thinking about is you've got everything you ever wanted. And Tinkerbell's there with a fairy dust to make sure you have it. We've waved that wand. What have you got? What does that future look like for you? What does it hold? What is it that you're doing? What are the aspects of your life that are really important to you? If you can give this some time, again, following on from this webinar, it's really important that you give this one some real time to visualize, if you can, really see, hear, think and feel how you might be feeling if you were to have all of those things. Again, what virtues do you have? What service are you delivering? How are you showing up in 10 years' time?
Some really nice ones coming through here. Mark, happy for us to share here that in 10 years' time he would like to be married with 2 kids, currently engaged, so best of luck with that, with the wedding next year. And then there's Jane, who's wanting to start her own business. Fantastic.
Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to move back now 10 years. So one of the things that's really good to be able to do, again, is to be able to step back and think about your life. What have you actually achieved up to now? And we can go back just 10 years or even further if you want to. What did you look like, or what have you looked at like when you're at your absolute best? How did you show up? Think about that, reflect on it, get some stuff down, jot it down on the paper. What were you doing? What are the successes you had? How did you feel about yourself? Was there anything particular that you know you were doing that was working really, really well for you? And what we're trying to do here is actually create a vision of what you would like people to be saying about you in the future, the virtues, how you're showing up in the future, how you've shown up in the past, how you know you've been successful in the past. And actually what we're now trying to do is pull all of that together to say, if you want to achieve what you want to achieve in your next 10, 25 years, by the end of your life, what does life need to look like right now? How do you make all of these things your new best baseline? So pulling from the past, pulling from the future, and actually looking at what are those skills, what's that mindset, how do you show up to make this your new baseline each and every day. So I hope you've jotted some of that down, because we're moving quite fast through this. So the next bit is around, as we said, bringing all of that through so you know how you're showing up as the best version of you right now, right this second. Where is it that current reality is now for you? What does the best version of you look like? And what we know in that gap between the current reality and the best version of you, where you'd really like it to be, that is where regret, anxiety, disillusionment, that's where all of that lives. It lives in this gap. That's where we start to feel dissatisfied. That's where a lot of us start to feel, actually, I know there's more to life than this, but I'm not really sure what that looks like for me yet. And that's all right. This is where these exercises come in really powerfully. So what does that best version of you look like right now? Where do you think your current reality is? Now, this is where our living life with Orite also comes in. So Orite, as I said, is about excellence. But what the Greeks also said that was about being happy and having a good soul. So that it's a really great word to express a lot of things. Excellence in your life, excellence in the way you work and meet with people, excellence in the way you deliver your profession or your service or you show up in the world. So how do you apply some of these things to ensure that you get to the best version of you? So every day, how do you deliver excellence? What are the things that you need to be doing to ensure that you can climb that ladder, take that journey to the next best version of you? And one of the things that this starts to work on is our dreamer. So we've looked at what we'd really like to be doing, what we'd like to show up as, what we'd like people to be saying about us, how we'd like to be living in the next 10 years. That's our dreamer at work. And what tends to happen is that gets left alone because it can't trust the doer in us to do anything about it. That's why so many people do not achieve their goals and ambitions, because they leave it as a dream. And I'm sure you're all aware that anyone who achieves the success that they set out to achieve does it through actually taking some action. Not necessarily hard work and loads of work, but it's actually about taking action in the moment. So one of the things that, setting a goal and thinking about the next year as your best year ever, it's simultaneously short, but it's simultaneously not long enough to achieve, maybe that goal for the end of your life or 25 years time. But the only time that we actually have to do anything and to make any difference is actually now. So how do we bring those things that we need to do into the micro moments of every single day, every single hour and minute? How do we make sure that we're using them to drive us in the right direction? So how can your dreamer trust the doer in you to every day, every minute to minute, do the right things to take you in the right direction, to help you to achieve that big, hairy, audacious goal, to achieve that, what does your life look like in 10 years' time? So what we have to be able to trust in ourselves is actually that our doer is really, really, really good at doing the small stuff, doing the micro things that you need to have happen every day to ensure that you're making the steps in the right direction. So that brings us on to the fundies, and that stands for fundamentals. So it's all about your foundations. So if you want to see how tall and strong a building is, then you just need to look at the foundations. They need to be well developed in order to keep the building stable and in order to, keep it strong. And that applies to us. And I think, especially in the modern world where we're all busy and we're all got lots to do, we actually start to forget about the things that are fundamentally most important for human life. And we've broken that down into just 3 things, and that is eating, moving, and sleeping. And I think that in life, especially modern life now, we've all taken easy routes to that. So if we look at moving, you can be quite sedentary but actually still be person that goes to the gym and works out. You know, you get in your car, you drive to the gym, you get out, you do an hour's workout, you get out, get back in your car, and then you go and sit at your desk all day in the office. And actually that's not really healthy at all, but you think that you're being healthy and active, and we're not really. So how can we do more to ensure that we are moving more of the time each day and building our strength and our capability to be able to do the things that we need to do to achieve our best year? Eating. I think we all have probably got to a stage where we know that a lot of what we eat is terrible for us. You know, if we're eating loads of sugar, loads of flour, lots of carbohydrates, we all probably know that they're not the best things for us. We can feel it, but actually we take the easy route too often and not think about how we eat more healthily, how we eat less manufactured, highly produced stuff. We all know what alcohol and smoking do to us, but still, you know, we have probably an excess of that in our lives. But do we know the effect that that's really having on us long term, and how it drains our energy, how it disables us from actually thinking straight, from being able to put the thinking that we need to put into, you know, our goals and our daily life that is going to help us stay on track to achieving whatever it is that success looks like for us. Sleeping, you know, you don't need to go back long, and I don't know exactly how long ago, but about 110 years ago when the light bulb was first invented. Before then, humans slept for an average of 10+ hours a night, and now that average is 6 to 7 hours, and we can't really function properly without proper sleep. What we also all do is watch TV till late at night, you know, maybe even watch TV in bed or take our smartphones to bed with us. And as we rise, we look at our emails. So we're not even allowing our bodies to go to sleep properly, relax properly, and wake up properly and ease ourselves into a day without looking at things that aren't that good for us. We're not able to focus our minds. So in the ideal future, how essential is it for you to look at things like the food you're eating, when you eat, how you eat, how much movement you're having in your life? You know, are you getting up and walking around after you've been sitting down for 20 minutes? Are you actually getting your 10,000 steps in a day? Are you getting 4 or 5 20-minute sessions of good exercise in a week? Are you getting at least 8 hours undisturbed, proper sleep? Are you going to bed at the same time every night? Are you getting up at the same time every morning? Do you find it easy to get out of bed in the mornings? All of those things will be indicators of whether or not you're doing this to the best of your ability. And it has probably, out of all the tips that we've given so far and will give, these 3 things, which is why we call them the foundations and the fundamentals, have the most power and potential to enable you to have the focus, the drive and the energy to go on and achieve what it is that you want to achieve. They can actually really debilitate you. So what do you need to start doing? What do you need to stop doing? So again, we've given you some a little exercise there to have a think about. What are the things you're going to start doing against each of those things, and what are you going to stop doing against each of those things? And it's micro things, doing micro things every day and every week. Start doing more, stop doing more, and eventually it will get to a good balance. But every day get better, and you will see the magic happen. You will feel the magic happen. So one of the things that we thought would be really good to do is these are the big three around goal setting. So there are lots of ways to improve your life, and we work with lots of people on this, and lots of people really struggle around, well, I'm not really sure what my goal should be, or you know, whether I want to be one of these or start one of these or to achieve this. It actually doesn't really matter. I think the best thing to do is to actually start with these three, again, fairly fundamental areas of everyone's life. Is so what energy have you got? What are you going to do around family? And what are you going to do around service? And when I say service, that's about your job, your career, your business or your profession, or the service that you want to provide to the world. So it all starts here. If your energy sucks, then you're going to struggle. So what goals around your energy do you want to set? What goals around family and your extended family and friends do you want to think about? And what goals around the service that you want to provide, or the business that you want to set up, or the career that you want to enhance? What's the number one thing in each of those areas that you would really like to work on? Each of those then are broken down into three things: the who, the what, and the why. So the who is about the identity. So around energy, what's the identity that you aspire to be? So if I talk you through mine, that might help you and jot down some of the things that you're thinking about. But so my identity around energy is that I want to be a fit, athletic 50-year-old going towards her 60s, and to stay fit in that next 10 years. So what is it that I need to do around that to ensure that that's going to happen? What is it? What's the number one thing that I need to do? You know, get up every morning, I need to work out, I meditate, eat the right things before I then get to do my deep work each day. And why? Well, because I know that I can then maintain my weight, I can be fit and I can be healthy, and I can be that fit 60-year-old and hopefully into my 70s. One of the things that is also really wise to think about is if you can really hone that identity in each of these things. So who do you want to be around energy? Who do you want to be around family? Who do you want to be around your service? If you can really focus on that and hone that, you can start acting as if you already are. And there's really amazing science behind that. Be really clear on what it is that you want, who you want to be, and then act as if you already are those things. And the science says that you will achieve within 10% of those goals. So again, have a think about each of those three areas. Have a think about what is the number one goal for each of those: energy, family, service. And then what you need to be doing is you need to bake these into what our next exercise is, your showpiece day. So if you want to lose weight and get fit, what are you going to do every single day? What are you going to bake into your day to make sure that that happens? And the more it becomes a daily activity, the more it's likely to become a habit, and the more it's likely to just become a natural thing you do, and therefore the more it's likely that you're going to be successful. So what is the number one thing around energy, family, and the number one thing around service that you want to take into this next exercise, which is all around your showpiece day? So we're taking the number one thing from that last exercise, and we're going to plug them into the day. So you can see in the middle of this slide here. So number 1, family, service, energy. Jot down on your bit of paper, and then later when we send this through to you, you can fill this in. Jot down the number 1 thing that you believe in each of those things are going to help you be at your best if you do that every single day. The other thing that we're going to look at doing is your AM and PM bookends. So what are the elements, the practices and the routines at the beginning of every day and at the end of every day that would actually set your day up nicely for you? One of the ancient arts sort of in Japan and in China was that the next day started at sunset the day before. So you're kind of finishing your day, you see the sun setting, and you're actually saying, okay, what are the things that I need to do now at sunset the day before that are going to set me up brilliantly for the next day? So one of the things that I do at sunset is have a digital sunset, and it's something that we've tried to embed across the whole business actually, so that at least by 8 o'clock at night, all the digital equipment is off. No more emails, no more Facebook and social media, no more whiling away hours on Pinterest picking holiday outfits. Is actually let my mind rest. I make a journal of what's been good every day and what needs work. And then I set up a list of things, just 5 things. What are the 5 things that I am going to achieve tomorrow or in the next 24 hours? So that I set my expectations for the next day the day before. So I'm really clear. I'm not laying in the middle of the night waking up worrying about things. I'm actually thinking, no, I know it's really clear I'm going to achieve those 5 things tomorrow. And again, I think I said that often we really overestimate what you can actually achieve in a day, but we really underestimate what we can achieve in a month, in a week, in a year. And so this is why it's really important to stick to just 3 or 5 core things that you want to achieve in the next day. My AM bookends are, again, I do not allow my digital stuff to come on before 10 o'clock. So I don't read emails and respond to emails. I don't look at social media or Facebook or get hooked on anything that's happening on BBC News alerts. I don't allow that to come into my day, because often it can actually create an imprint which then stops you focusing on what you really do need to achieve that day. So I know I've got 5 things that I want to achieve for work, for the business, and I know that I'm going to focus on those. But I know that if I allow digital to come in before 10 o'clock, I will not get those things done because I'll be sidetracked. So there's some of the elements that I have, and a practice that I have every morning. A practice I have every morning is that I get up, I do a workout, and I also meditate. I also do a really great tool which we'll also share with you called the Daily Attitude Shower, and it really helps you to think about what are you really grateful for in your life, what are the things that you are aiming to do in the next year, and what are the things that you need to focus on in the next 90 days to help you achieve that. So again, baking all of these things into every day, so I'm knowing what I'm doing, what I'm trying to achieve. And then you can see the squiggly lines, the ups and the downs. This is all about cycles and rhythms in your day that will enable you to do some really deep work. So be really full on and focus on what you need to do, the things that you're trying to achieve, taking you towards your ambitions and your goals, but also to allow yourself to be really fully off. So if you do 90 minutes of really deep focused work, you need to stop and then have 20 minutes off. And when I say 20 minutes off, I don't mean that you then need to do your emails for 20 minutes. It's about switching off, allowing your brain to relax, to unwind, maybe go and get some of your 10,000 steps done. Just get out of sitting on your bum in your office and focus on something else for a minute. So they're the things that was like, how do you achieve some of your goals? Is, well, you're setting them all of the time, you're reviewing them all of the time, but you're also putting really deep work cycles in every single day, focusing on what's important, focusing on the things that you want to achieve, and making sure that these are aligned to your 90-day plans or your yearly goals, which ultimately are taking you in the direction of your next 10 years, achieving what you want to achieve in the next 10 years. So get them baked in, and it takes some time to work out what works for you, what doesn't. Sometimes getting up and having a workout is a brilliant thing to do. Sometimes that's something people really don't like doing, and they'd rather do the workout at the end of the day, or do your workout both times in the day, or the middle of the day. Actually, it really doesn't matter. We need to have a different mindset around what a day can look like to ensure that it's doing the best for you and you're achieving your outcomes and your goals. Right, the next bit is really my favourite bit. And it's really what stops you doing what you need to be doing, what you need to be focusing on. And this is where we have broken this down to 3 areas: pickles, gnats, and kryptonite. And there is a space that when you get the workbook through, it starts to have a think about, so what are the gnats? What are the behaviours that you have in your life that are not making you proud? So it's like buzzing around in your head, the things that you shouldn't be doing. What are the things that you allow into your life that are actually just like gnats? So sometimes, and let's be frank, that might be people. That might be people you work with, it might be friends or families, and actually all they are is an annoying buzzing gnat that you just want to swat away. So if you have got a lot of that, then really think about, well, how do I need to stop that? How do I stop the things that are happening? And usually those things happen because of your own behaviours. You're allowing it to happen. You're allowing them to behave like they are, and your reaction is your behaviour towards them back. So really, really think about that. Pickles. So I think we all know what a pickle is, and there's a gherkin in that picture, and we probably all know that a gherkin was originally a cucumber, and we're probably all very aware that once a cucumber has been pickled, it ain't never going back to being a cucumber. And actually, that is what we're doing with some of the addictions that we have in our life. We are actually pickling our brain, and they will never go back to what they were before. And especially if we don't stop doing these things. So some of that is, what we're eating, what we're drinking. It is destroying our minds and our brains. And some of that is what we're using on a daily basis, probably far too much. So the blue screens that come from our gadgets, we all spend probably too many hours. And I know that Apple in the new iPhone actually tell you how many hours of screen time you've had. So they're even trying to tell you that it's not a good idea. But equally, the World Health Organization have highlighted that tech is a class 2 carcinogen. So it really, really isn't good for us, which is why it's really important that you have a digital sunset and sunrise, and especially younger people, that we don't allow them to have those hideous habits. Let's get everyone talking or just relaxing and having some quiet time instead of just having all of that information bombarding their minds. And again, that has been shown psychologically, where people who were involved in the Boston bombing, I don't know if any of you can remember that, but the people who watched it on continuous cycle of 24-hour news compared to the people who were actually involved in it there live, the people who watched it on news suffered post-traumatic what's the word I'm looking for? Stress more than those who were actually there live. So that's really, really worrying that this stuff being pumped at us all the time is too much for us to take in, and we need to have downtime from it. So this is where I also come in with another sort of film analogy. So excuse that, we've had Harry Potter, so why wouldn't we have Superman? So kryptonite, and particularly kryptonite dust. My view is that Lex Luthor, Superman's arch rival, who was trying to kill him all the time with huge chunks of kryptonite, probably wasn't thinking very wisely, because obviously with a huge chunk of kryptonite, Superman could see it, he could feel it immediately, so he could deal with it. But say he'd sprinkled that around as kryptonite dust and sprinkled it over his keyboard, around his bedroom, in his kitchen. What would have happened is his powers would have weakened gradually and very slowly to, before he knew it, he was very weak, but it was a new norm for him. So he wouldn't have realized that it had been happening. And that is exactly what we do to ourselves with our pickles and our nuts and the things that we're doing that are bad for us. Is you end up with a lack of energy, a lack of sort of excitement, a lack of health quite often. And actually we don't even realize it, because it's happened to us so slowly that it actually feels like a new normal. And when you start to address some of these things, even just really minor things like switching your phone off at 8 o'clock at night, not watching TV for at least an hour before you go to bed, not picking up the iPhone and iPads and emails as soon as you wake up in the morning, you realize that actually you seem happier and you're not getting affected by this news. And I realized that that was so much the case for me that I actually now do not ever watch the news, and I do not take a daily newspaper anymore, because I realized that actually it's all bad news. And what we concentrate on actually develops and grows in our mind. So if you seeing a lot of that bad stuff and hearing a lot of it, you start to live it, you start to feel it. And so I've now banned that from my life as far as possible. And, you know, if ever I do have a weak moment and get sucked into BBC Breakfast or the Sunday Times on a Sunday, I suddenly realise how bad I feel, because it's all bad news. There's not even a "and finally good news" story anymore. So have a try. You know, you need to practice these things and see what works for you, what does and doesn't work for you. So again, really think about what are these things in your life, and ultimately it comes down to stop doing stupid things. And we all know that a lot of them are stupid. We all know that they're not good for us. But you know what? We're all a little bit addicted and we're doing too much of it. And ultimately it does get in the way of achieving your goals. One of the number one things after lack of confidence people say that stops them achieving their goals is they don't have enough time. I haven't got enough time. But actually, if you cut some of these things, you could probably capture about 2 hours a day that you could just spend on focusing on your goal, rather than getting lost in Facebook, being taken on a mad trip through Wikipedia or Google or YouTube. You know, I know because these things happen to you, and it happened to me, is you look for something and then before you know it, you've gone off on some wild goose chase and you're watching some program about the Kardashians, and you know, you have to give yourself a big pinch and go, come on, let's get real. And if you think about some of the world's most successful people or some of the world's gurus, let's say Gandhi, do you think Gandhi would have sat and watched 50 hours non-stop Suits box set? Probably not. He had greater things to achieve. But that's just one to think about, I think. So on to another favourite of ours is Whoop. So Whoop is actually a scientifically proven process. That's very, very simple, and you can use it on everything. So you can use it for a really, really big, hairy, audacious goal. So what's your wish? What's the outcome that you'd like to achieve? What are the obstacles preventing you? And once I know those things, I can put a plan in place really easily. But you can also Whoop your day. So you can start the day and say, right, what's my wish for today? What is the outcomes I want to achieve? What's stopping me? What's going to get in my way? What's my plan? You can do it if you're working with a partner or in pairs. You can do it as a family, you know, to plan a holiday. You can use this on everything. It's really simple. It only ever needs to take 5 minutes, but it can really set your mind straight and get you with a really good idea of, okay, this is now what I need to focus on. We even did it on a business planning session that we ran. We went through all of our products and services and we did a Whoop on them. And some of them we ended up looking at and saying, do you know what? There are far too many obstacles and the outcomes aren't great enough for us. So our plan was ditch that. And it was really quite powerful to go through. And in other areas, we just have a quick Whoop in the morning and just say, right, what have we got to achieve today? What do we all want to try and achieve out of today? What's our wish? What's the outcomes that we need to get done? What's getting in the way? Let's knock them down and then let's make sure there's a plan in place for doing it. Really, really simple, but really, really powerful tool. So that brings us really to towards the end of this webinar in terms of the last thing to look at is how do we create a life extraordinary? So what role is it that we want to create? You want to be a CEO of your own company, you want to be a director in, you know, rise up the ranks in your company that you're in now. Do you want to get out of the company you're in now and become a business owner? Do you want to be a coach? One of the most powerful things that I said earlier is to visualize that you already have that. Spend time looking at and thinking about what does that feel like for you? What does that look like? One of the things I think we've lost the art of is actually allowing ourselves really quiet time on our own to think and to visualize about what it is that we want. If you look at people like Einstein and amazing scientists and explorers, they had hours and hours, sometimes just literally in darkened rooms, thinking, visualizing what it is that they wanted to achieve. Stephen Hawking said that one of the things that he did was to just lie in a darkened room, visualizing how the universe worked, how things fit together. And that's how he came up with the theory of everything. So it's really powerful to allow ourselves to have quiet and downtime to allow our mind to wander and to think, to put thoughts and ideas there. So have a go at trying to find that time for you, because I know everyone's busy and we've all got loads to try and get done, but it's really powerful. And it takes some practice actually, because I think we've all lost the art of doing that. So the third step really here is to identify what drives your behaviors and feelings. Now, a lot of people think that feelings come first and then you have behaviors, but actually, again, the science proves it's the other way around. So what you're doing, how you're behaving, is how you're feeling. So that, again, think about that. If you're feeling happy and excited, that's being driven from some sort of behavior that you're doing. If you're not feeling happy or content, or you're feeling anxious, what is it that you're doing that's driving that? And sometimes it's as simple as you're thinking about things. So your thinking also creates your reality, which creates your feeling. So if you're thinking very positively and your behaviors are positive and supportive, then that's generally what leads you to feeling great. And if it's the reverse, that's why you may feel not so great at times, or a lot of the time. So what are your markers and your optimizers? So put some markers in the sand. So we talked about earlier today is put down your benchmark. So what are the markers for where you want to be today? Your new benchmarks. So taking all of the great stuff that you thought about from your eulogy you, how you want to be in 10 years time, the great successes that you've had over the last 10 years, pull them into a marker about where your new best you looks. And then start to look at where can you optimize. So what are the stupid things you can stop you're doing that you can stop? What are some things that you can start doing that you're not doing that would really help you to optimize what it is that you want to achieve? The other thing is about playing your role well. So thinking about who you want to be and how you want to be is catching yourself doing that well, catching yourself when you're not doing it so well. So again, great tool for the end of every day. If you journal, it's a really powerful tool. You'll know that. But if you don't, that could be one of your optimizers. Journal. And at the end of every day, or at the end of even a meeting with co-workers, look at what's going well, what needs work, what went really well for me today, what needs some work. And again, it's a very simple tool, very fast to do, and actually you get very clever and quick at doing it. But also there are no emotions in that. You can just say, well, yeah, that went well, that didn't, we just need to work on that, or I need to work on that. Really helpful for you to optimize and play your role well. And then, of course, finally, at the heart of our model and at the heart of what's driving us is really Arete. How do we do all of that with excellence? All the successful people, all the extraordinary people that you will meet in life or that you will see in life, you normally see that what they do is they do it with excellence. They do it with a moral compass. They do it with values, and they're driven by those values, and that drives the excellence.
So just as we come to that point, we've got a few questions. Tony, you okay to take them?
Yeah.
Perfect. So Tom has asked, how he can come over his lack of belief to start his own business with what you discussed today.
Okay. I think that, like I said, that's probably the first and number one barrier to anyone achieving anything is their lack of belief or confidence in what they can achieve. And I think that the number one tool is to remember that what you think about, what you focus your energy on, develops and grows, and that you will achieve within 10% of what you believe you can. So that's why we suggest setting a big, hairy, audacious goal. Because if you allow yourself to be constricted by your current thinking or your lack of belief or self-confidence in yourself, it means that your thinking will drive a behavior that is actually not helpful for you. So if you can start to let go of those things that are holding you back and focus on creating a really strong picture and image of yourself in that new role, or setting that business up, what that's going to be about, how exciting that's going to make you feel, who you're going to deliver to, what you're going to deliver to. What that does is it changes your thinking to a future-based reality, which then stops you worrying about the here and now and what you might feel you're not great at, or that you don't have the confidence. So try and not to think about lack of or something that you don't have, but focus on the towards goal, which is something more exciting, and practice being confident about yourself. Act as if you are. Think about people that you may know or see around you, or be famous people that you think actually they're really confident, they're great business people. Look at what they do, mirror what they do, pretend you're them. It is really, really powerful. And again, visualize, spend some time focusing on being in that position and how you'll be in that, and believe in yourself.
Brilliant. And just following on from that, Tony, as well, Claire's sent a question as well, saying she's due back into work in January after maternity leave, and she has a bit of a crisis of confidence just with her own ability. She's actually a senior manager in the business where she is, and she works with men around that, and she's a little bit worried after having 9 months out.
Yeah. And that's a really common theme, especially after having children and some time out of the workplace, is, things do move on and you might feel like you've sort of missed out. And I think the key thing is to articulate that when you get back into work, and just to ask for some sessions with other people in the business so that you can catch up, so that you can feel like you're back on top of things. And again, focus on what you're great at doing. You wouldn't have had that position before if you weren't good enough. So it's about getting back to that belief that you can do this, but also not being afraid to ask for the support of your colleagues to help to bring you back up to speed. So then you're not sitting there worrying about, well, I didn't know about this and I wasn't up to speed with that. You've actually articulated it at the beginning, and they can give you some orientation sessions and support you back into the business in a more gentle way, without you not articulating it and worrying about it.
Brilliant. We'll move on to the next slide. Thank you everyone for questions, and hopefully we'll have a bit more time towards the end where we can ask a few more.
Okay, so this is just a quick run through what we've been through today. So these are our 10 big, hairy, audacious ideas for you to have a play with, to run through with, spend some time on. We're coming up to Christmas, great time to, obviously spend time with your family, to relax, but also spend time with yourself, thinking about these things. Really great actually to do this with your partner or your family. Get them all involved, because actually this is one of the things that hardly any of us do, particularly you know, younger people, they don't spend any time really thinking about where they'd like their career to go to. And it's really powerful process, can get you all back on the same page, but equally enable you to have some selfish time focused on what it is that you want to do. So have a play with all the tools, have a think about particularly what is it around Phoenix Rising that, you know, what is it you need to burn in your life? What is it that you need to allow to rise out of those ashes? Really focus on what's been awesome in the last year, 12, 18 months, what's been really good, what's worked really well for you. But be honest with yourself, take a reality check and go, actually, what needs work? Then really spend some time on the best you. So the best you, your eulogy you. Again, I said it was uncomfortable, but do it. It's the most powerful thing you can do. Come back, go forward another 10 years. What does life really look like? Spend some time visualizing it. Do a mood board, really powerful tool again. And then go back 10 years and look at what was the best you in the time up to now. And put all of those down around what are those new baselines you're going to take forward with you for the best you now. What's that about? What does that look like? The fundamentals, absolutely foundation of everything we do. Eat, sleep, move. How are you going to get more sleep, more focused, proper sleep? How are you going to think about optimizing your food, making that more healthy choices for yourself? And then how do you get more movement into your life? Even if you stand up every 20 minutes and do 5-star jumps, that's going to be a lot more than you've done in the past. Although some of you might be, you know, fabulous athletes listening to me thinking, what the hell does she think she's talking about? But, you know, these things are really important. They are the foundation to you know, your life, and you'll be able to have the strength and energy to take these forward. Number 6 was about the big 3. So what service are you providing? How are you going to show up in that? Who do you want to be? How are you going to deliver that? How are you going to deliver the family? How are you going to deliver that with energy? And then how are you going to take the top things out of those and bring them into your showpiece day? Your AM and your PM bookends, your deep work, your highly on, your highly off periods of the day, the super cycles. Your pickles, gnats and kryptonite dust. What is it that you're actually doing to yourself? The stupid things that we all keep doing that are actually not allowing you to optimize. Get some time back by not looking at your iPads and your social media. And then whoop everything, literally whoop everything. What's your wish? What's the outcomes you're looking to achieve? What's stopping you get there, the obstacles, and put your plan together. Really simple. Use it for the big stuff. Use it for the really micro stuff. It works all the time. And finally, play your game well. What is your role? It's your role. Have fun with it. And you know what? It's your rules. So we're going to send you the slides through, and then there's lots of work sheets in there. So have a recap, have a think about what's been your biggest idea, what's been the biggest thing that's come out of today. And I know that, you know, it's a webinar, so invariably what we're doing is talking at you, but hopefully this has given you lots of food for thought. And if you're already on a program with us and you're doing coaching or one of our qualifications, you know, do this, and it's part of your next coaching or one-to-one review. You can email it to us, share it with us, because this is what will help us to ensure that we enable you to get your best year ahead, and we can help you achieve that. So thank you so much for your time. It's been brilliant to share that with you at a really key point in the year where you can be reflecting on everything and thinking about how you can start the new year off with a bang, your next 12 months. And I'm now going to hand you back to Rich. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you ever so much, Tony. There's been plenty of questions fly through. So what we'll do is, because you're all linked up onto the system, you can email us also again at hello@beyond2030.co.uk. That's hello@beyond2030.co.uk, and we'll try and answer them back. In the meantime, though, I'm going to skip on and let you know that we have a one-time only offer for all the individuals who are not currently with us through coaching or programs. However, obviously people who are with coaching with us at the moment, you've had this fantastic deal already. So what I'm offering today is 3 times 50-minute transformational coaching sessions. We've got also 3 live webinars with Tony and our lead transformational coach, Pauline, which will be going on from the new year, which go in the same period of time. And we've also got additional online content, which gives you unlimited access to our Aspire model, which Tony went through earlier on in the day, and plus online bonus content, which we'll throw in for you. So normally, as you can see, the prices are there. The total price is £1,585 plus VAT. However, as a one-time only offer, and what we're offering for you guys over the next couple of weeks, so you can really kickstart 2019 and make it your best year yet, is all of this for just £549 plus VAT. Now, what I'm absolutely happy to do with everybody on the call today is if you want to drop us a line at hello@beyond2030.co.uk and discuss further, then you can do that. Alternatively, you can go to tonyeastwood.com, where you can also grab her book and get the whole model in there. And you can just order that for £24, be the best Christmas present you'll give yourself this year. But also at the same time, it tells you a bit more about our coaching, and you can order it online. But if you take the opportunity to grab that over the festive period, the deal is there for you. However, you know what a lot of people do want to talk to us if they've never taken on coaching before, or actually if they have had coaching and would be interested in knowing what our other deals are. Again, please do just get in touch with us. As I said, we will be getting back to you with all of the questions that you've sent us out today individually, to make sure that we're helping you achieve the life and career of your dreams. As I said right at the beginning, one of the key things for Tony's Big Hairy Audacious Goals is to help 1 million people. That's our passion, that's our goal, to help you achieve what you'd like to go to in the next 12 months and obviously beyond. So as again, I've just read through that one-time only offer again, is that we've got 3 50-minute transformational coaching sessions, which are all online, aimed to fit in and around your business or work. Then we're having 3 live webinars with Tony and our lead transformational coach, Pauline. They will be done during the period of time as well. Again, all these are recorded, so you can always pop back to them once you've been on them as well. You don't lose that as part of the coaching package. And then also we're going to throw in a bunch of additional online content. This is giving you unlimited access to our Aspire model, and plus lots of online bonus content to really, as I say, help you achieve your career and business dreams. And as I said, all of this is for just £549 plus VAT. Again, everything which we have discussed today will be sent through to you on emails in the next 24 hours, so you can start working on everything. Start whooping. Maybe you're going to be whooping the turkey in the next few days and making sure you're putting the right vegetables on there. But alternatively, you might be whooping your next big business idea. So that leaves me nothing more to say. Thank you ever so much. Here's to the next 12 months for you, and you being the best you. Best of luck for the next 12 months. We can't wait to hear from you, and goodbye. Thank you.